Here we go.
I like that black.
Oh yeah, it's tight.
The Bleav, the Phoenix Suns podcast, right here on KSRN. With your host, Earl Burnett, aka Casual E.
Exactly. I'm starting to kind of figure you out a little bit, Flex. I'm trying to figure you out. But you really believe in this Suns team. You really see something that maybe some of us are not seeing, bro.
And Felix Cruz, Flex from Jersey.
It just feels different. He's the hungriest dog in the race, and that's what I'm saying. That's another dynamic I think people are underestimating. Is that we're gonna go in there with a pack of hungry dogs, and the hungriest dog is leading our team.
Time to talk Sun.
I want to go down there and destroy everyone in our way. All right, welcome back into the Bleav, the Phoenix Suns podcast, and y'all better still be believing. But I'm your host, Earl Burnett, a.k.a. Casual E, in the house. And, of course, my man, the one and only Flex from Jersey, Felix Cruz, is back in the house. If I get us back on this dang on screen here a minute here. Hold on a second, peeps. Here we go. Here we go. You know, it's kind of hard to be your board operator and got to do the show at the same time. I had some dude in the box somewhere doing this stuff. It'd be all pretty cool, but
multi-talented, brother. Multi-talented.
There you go. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But welcome back, bro. Welcome back, man.
I appreciate you, my brother. Happy to be back home, baby, in the casual house. Love it. Love it.
You gotta at some point give us a little bit about your trip, because y'all don't know, Flex. If y'all didn't know, Flex was here in Arizona during Game 2 and had a hell of a quick stint, but with no sleep and just went straight through the whole damn thing almost. But he had a pretty good stint out here doing some shows and hanging out, and I think he had a couple of conversations with some of the Suns, telling them don't worry about everything. Dude, that's a nice
little go,
right
baby. There I go. I'm telling the fellas, don't listen to Twitter. Don't worry.
I'm like, look at Torrey Craig like, what the hell are you talking about, fool?
I told Torrey, I said, bro, let it go. Let it go.
You telling them dudes to just chill a little bit. But we're going to have some fun here tonight because I brought in my dog, one of our heavy hitters, my man from let me just say it this way, from the hottest Saturday morning radio show going right now on KDUS 1060 AM from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. My man, Ed Smith from the Easy Sports Talk. What is up, Big Ed?
Man, I know I made it now. I'm here on Casual Sports with Casual E and Flex. Man, I'm here. I don't understand. Flex, that picture that was just on the screen, you couldn't see me. I was back here just clowning. That is so good. I love it.
That was a Twitter follower of mine, man. I gotta give him some love, man. My man, shout that out to me. I was laughing. That was great stuff.
Yeah, that was so funny when I saw that. I said, yeah, he probably would be right there telling the dude, hey, chill out, man. Everything gonna be all right, man. Hey, Torrey Craig, like, man, who the hell are you?
I love it.
Yeah, that's funny stuff, man.
That's
hey,
hilarious.
brother Ed, I love you to death, brother. I'm glad you can make it, man. I love talking with you.
Hey, y'all great family, man. We get through all this stuff together, and like I said, I told earlier, I was like, man, I just appreciate you having me on, bro. It's all in the family.
But let's be real though, Ed. Speaking of this is the Phoenix Suns, Bleav the Phoenix Suns podcast on KSRN. Now you've been on Neutral Zone with me.
Mm-hmm.
I've come on the Easy Sports Talk. This is your first time on the podcast.
Hey,
man, what the hell?
Hey, I've just been a phone call away, man. I've been waiting. I got the call today, so it's all good.
Nah, but real though, man. I mean, I'm so glad to see you healthy and up and about again, man. Because I know that surgery thing was no freaking joke. man.
Yeah, I'm still on the mend, bro. I got a long way to go.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's just good to be on the other side of the surgery. That's the best part.
Hey,
Yeah.
brother Ed, real quick, what you had back surgery?
Yeah, my second one, man. They had to go down there and the lower three vertebrae, remove some
L4,
spacers from
L5,
the.
S1.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah,
I had
yeah.
3. I've had 3. I got screws in my
So
back, so we could talk off the line, man. I got through the other end, man. So stay
Yes,
positive.
sir.
We'll get through it.
There
We'll
you
get
go.
through it.
That's right.
I talk to you offline. We'll chop it
Okay.
up. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you know what we're here for, man, and of course we coming off that loss. What is it? No, that's not the one. Hold on a second. I got my camera wrong. Of course, the 109 and 103 loss, of course, in Game 4, and now I'm glad Flex has come back right on time, because now Planet Orange needs to be walked back off the ledge a little bit, because everybody's ready to jump off this dang on bandwagon or whatever you want to call it. They want to jump off the ledge because everything is going to hell right now. It's like, look, come on now, people. I've been saying this from day one since these finals started, and I've been saying something else when this whole playoff thing started. But I'm gonna go with the finals first. This is a finals competition between two evenly matched teams, and we cannot expect that we just gonna run through these dudes. I mean, why does everybody think it's just gonna be a cakewalk? I mean, I know our first 3 series were, hey, we pretty much dominated and okay, but as you get through closer to the end of the whole thing to winning it, it's going to get harder. And I keep saying is that other team is there for a reason too.
Right.
And I hate to hear all of, well, the Suns didn't do this and the Suns didn't do that and they didn't do it. I'll say, okay, there's a reason why the other team has done something on defense, right, to cause those things. Let's get this other team a little bit of credit. And that's just how it goes. But we gotta walk them back, Flex. And I know you got a lot. I mean, I caught your show on with Bleav, and man, that the one thing you said that stood out to me is that as Phoenix Suns fans, we need to respect this team. And that was so key, man. When you said that, I said, you know what, that is so true. We need to respect this team, because guess what, people? None of y'all thought we was going to be here all last year at this year when this thing started. Myself included, none of us thought we were going to be here. So even if they happen to not make it through this thing, y'all better get this team their respect, man. We were not supposed to be here. So So when I heard you say that, I was like, that's what we need to hear. But let's get this show going, man, because I know you got a lot to get to. I know my man Ed got some stuff he can get to with us to help us in this show. So
of course,
let's recap the game. I mean, the Suns looked like they were in total control of this game, and then the turning point. What was the turning point?
Turning point was that fourth quarter. 33-21 in the fourth quarter. And listen, man, I said it last night. I'll say it again. This ain't the NIT tournament. This ain't the Vegas Summer League, man. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the Portsmouth Invitational, whatever it is. It's the NBA Finals, man. The Milwaukee Bucks are a real team. Exactly. And they got real dogs over there. And so do we. Exactly. And I need people to understand, man, like, it's a series. Like, we handled our business at home. We won our 2 games at home, which gave us the luxury to go to Milwaukee and try to steal one, because that's all you want, is to try to steal one.
Right.
And listen, we didn't come to play on Sunday, and we controlled this game for 46 minutes. Unfortunately, the last 2 minutes is what decided this basketball game. But there's so much deeper when you look at this basketball game. People might think I'm crazy. I feel good today. I'm not one of these guys that saying I played the game, brother Ed. You played the game, Earl. You played the game. You know what it's like to be competitive. You know what it's like to be in the trenches. Nobody on this Phoenix Suns basketball team got their head down. Nobody's worried. I mean, they got everything they wanted last night. They outshot the Bucks. They shot 51% from the field, man. You know what I'm saying? They got everything they wanted except the dub. And everything that didn't go right was self-inflicted. 17 turnovers, you're not going to win a basketball game doing that. Giving up 19 points off those turnovers, you're not going to win a game. Giving the team 19 extra shots, you're not going to win the game. And yet, with all that said, brother, we controlled that game for 46 minutes. So there's a lot to be optimistic about. I think we're fine. I think we'll regroup and we'll handle our business on Saturday. That's my take on that.
Right. Now, Ed, I know, in case y'all don't know, Ed Smith, he is former NFL player and MLB player, and sports is pretty much his life. So Ed, and you break the game down in football and all the sports so well, and I know there's certain intangibles that you see in games that's why I like to bring you on, because I like to know you break things down at the same time. He's one of the best analysts as far as analyzation, as far as giving you analogy about something with a girlfriend. but you got so many intangibles in this game, like free throws and fast break points, turnovers. All teams have to even those things out sometime, right? One team can't dominate the whole thing, right?
Well, the one thing, brother, I think people don't realize how hard, especially at professional sports, both sides are getting paid.
Right.
These are professionals at the top end of 1% in the world as far as who they're competing against. Absolutely. And it is not easy to go on the road and win just a regular season game, let alone a game that Milwaukee, because Milwaukee, they knew they had to go home and protect their house just like we did in the first two games. Exactly. So in some instances, they're going to play more like that rabid dog, because they're in a more desperation mode. And that's kind of what that's like that. Yeah. And that's kind of what I saw, and not taking anything against us, especially last night, but on Sunday, I think they were the hungrier team. Right. Last night, we just came across some breaks, some things that happened that we haven't seen all year from a Chris Paul and different things. Yes, and those little things, when you're in these type of games, it's the littlest of things that make and decide victory and defeat. And I think that's it. A couple turnovers by Chris Paul, Devin picking up a fifth foul, different things like that. Right. Those little itty bitty things. I will say one thing, and I think you both hit it at the top of the show here, how quickly we forget what this team was at the beginning of the season, what they did through the season, where they are now, and like all the people, like all of a sudden now Chris Paul, he's the worst, this and that. Exactly. It's like, wait a minute, just a couple a few days ago, I mean, we had a vote for president, we'd have changed it in a minute, and he'd have been president of the United States. And now, just from one and a half games, and now all of a sudden, now he's not worth this, he's not worth that.
That's media and fans, man. We go from moment to moment, man, and that's just how it goes. But Chris Paul, it's just moment for moment, man. But I look at this game, and I look at all the fast break points. We're a fast breaking team, right? Well, how do we have 0 points in fast break?
You know what? Every game is a different entity, right? Every game in the playoffs is a different animal. And I Bleav that the Suns, if you look at how they play, and I was talking to a friend of mine before the game even started yesterday, and I was saying, if you look at how the Suns have traditionally played game fours, go back to how they played that game 4 against the Lakers. It was a slow, methodical, let's control the tempo. Let's not let the game get ahead of ourselves. Let's not let them go on any runs. We did the same kind of thing against the Clippers and played that really crazy dogfight. That game that went down to the wire was a defensive slugfest. I think what happened yesterday was game 3 put the Suns in a situation where they said, okay, we can't let Milwaukee get vertical. When I say vertical, I mean just cutting out on the break, because they're not a very good half-court team. They're successful when they're getting out and running vertically, north-south, and on the break. So I think we kind of messed with our own stuff there. Yes, we controlled the game and we played in mud, and that controlled their tempo a little bit, but that also hurt us in our fast break point situation. So I think the compromise in game 5 is a little bit, it's a little bit of what we did in game 4 mixed with a little bit of what we were doing in the first 2 games. You can't go completely slow against this team. You have to kind of have like an even balance, but we'll fix that, man. And then another thing is you got to rebound the ball to get out in the fast break. And on the glass, we were out rebounded we were out rebounding -8, so that's big. And then on the offensive glass, they had a +12. So there's a lot of things that come into our fast break, and we just didn't get the job done yesterday. But these are all things that we can correct, man, which is why I feel good.
Okay, Ed, I know you talked about Chris Paul, and I know you've seen superstars before, and you've seen those superstars that have that gleam in the eye where, they got that look in the eye where they take over a game or whatever. How can a superstar, and this is what some of our fans have to be walked back on, how can a superstar go from 41-point superstar to all of a sudden he's scared of the moment? Is that possible?
Are you referring to Chris Paul?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, here's the thing, man. Sometimes we have to realize the other team, they have players sometimes where their whole focus is to stop our guy, right?
There you go.
And we got to remember, Chris Paul, he is an overachiever. You think about look at how many 6-foot guards have done what he's done in this new era of basketball.
And that's being generous, brother Ed. That's like 5'11". That's like 5'11".
Yeah. So he's not a jumper. He doesn't jump out the gym. He's not the fastest guy on the floor. He's done everything through not necessarily smoke and mirrors, but he's done it through his technique and his exactness. Now, in some instances, you're going to just run up against somebody or a team or a game plan against you that is going to trump what he does. Now, the key is he's going to have to go into his bag of tricks and come up with phase 2 of what they haven't seen yet or what they're not expecting. Maybe instead of that mid-range, maybe now he's driving and dishing more. He's going to have to do something to offset what they've come to take away from us. And it's not easy because, just like regular people, we're creatures of habit. So he's continued to try to go to his normal tricks and gadgets and stuff like that. And right now, I guarantee you, they're going through the game film and they're realizing, wait a minute, if they're doing this, what we were doing is not going to work. We're going to have to make some adjustments, and maybe instead of the pick and roll, which was working so well for us, maybe we do some other different things. Maybe take him off the ball, get him in some different roles where now he's getting the ball and he's not got coverage already on top of him, where now he can create an open space. So, I mean, it's a game of chess, man. This ain't checkers. This is chess.
There you go.
I'm sure everybody's working on what they got to do.
Can I piggyback on something that Ed just said?
Absolutely, bro.
So E, you know what? You nailed that. And here's the one thing after watching the film today, the shots were there for Chris. Mm-hmm. They were there, brother Ed. You know what the problem is I think Chris got lost in the fact that we were controlling the game, and you got to remember Devin was on fire.
Yeah.
So sometimes Chris can get in his own way, and I think that it was more about Chris getting in his own way than about anything that they were doing. Because when I looked at the film, there were plenty of opportunities where he could have shot, and he continued to get people involved. And the crazy thing is, brother Ed, is when you look at the film, what he was doing was working. You know what I'm saying? Like up until the end of the fourth quarter, we were winning that basketball game. We were up 7, deep into the fourth. And so I think there was a part of him that was feeling like, okay, I could turn it on right now, but it's kind of late in the game and this has been working. So let's just try to get away with this one. But I think that mentality, the next game is going to change. And he even said it in the game. Like you can see there was one point where he turned the ball over and had a bounce pass to Ayton, and it was a turnover. You can read his lips. He said, I'm shooting. Next time I'm shooting. So that, I just think it was a domino effect, was a perfect storm. But I feel confident in the fact that I saw shots that were available that I know Chris is going to take in game 5.
So none of you guys think that he was injured in any way?
No, he's fine. And let me stop that right now, bro. He's fine. Like, believe me when I tell you, brother Earl, you know what time it is, man.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with Chris Paul. There's people been tweeting at me all day. Listen, Chris is fine, man. This was just a bad game and just bad calculation by him. But he's fine. He's ready to go. He'll be fine.
So do you think maybe, I don't want to stay on this too long, because you already pretty much let us know everything should be cool with them. But do you think maybe it's got a little bit to do with the whole team and Chris Paul see how hot Devin's going, and they all kind of watch the show a little bit and get a little off focus?
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like to me. A lot of those guys wasn't ready to, when the time came to them, when he was out of that, or when he picked up his 5th foul, they went. I mean, they held it down defensively where it didn't get out of control, but they were not ready to go ahead and increase that lead like they normally do. So maybe they all sat back and just watched the show a little bit too much, and we got to get going, So I don't know. It's just kind of felt like that a little bit. But Chris Paul's okay. So you heard it from Flex right here. Chris Paul's good, and we expect him, of course, to come back in this next game with guns a-blazing. So. Right. So now here's the question to Planet Orange, and I know we've already pretty much almost answered it a little bit here, but do we panic? Do we panic? Do we hit the panic button, man? Is it time to hit the panic button?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no.
Right. I don't think so either.
Okay.
Hell no. Can I tell you why, man? This is my perspective. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it 100 here with my 2 brothers. And the rest of Planet Orange that hopefully is listening, man. Listen, first things first, I truly believe deep down inside we're the better basketball team. And Milwaukee just did what they were supposed to do. But here's the thing. I'm not going to panic because here's what I think. There's 2 out of 3. It's a 2 out of 3 with 2 games in Phoenix. Now, the only way there's not a game 7, just digest this, guys. The only way there's not a game 7, that would mean Milwaukee beat the Phoenix Suns 4 straight games.
Oh, no.
And I just can't. That's just not going to happen, guys. That's just not going to happen.
I can't see that happening.
And I'm going to say another thing, and this may be a little cocky and this may be a little brash, and some people may not like this, but the Phoenix Suns can win at home and on the road. And now Milwaukee lives at home. They butter their bread at home, okay?
Right.
They haven't been a great road playoff team this entire playoffs. Okay, so Milwaukee needs these games more than Phoenix does at home. What I'm gonna say right now is, not only do I think the Suns are gonna win Saturday, but I'm so confident in this basketball team based on what my eyeballs are telling me, that if we lost Game 5, I still think we can go to Milwaukee, win Game 6, and then win it in 7. So that's why I'm telling people to relax, man. Like, pump y'all brakes. This is 50% of the series. It's 2-2. We halfway down the road, guys. Let's not panic. This basketball team, when it's time to get it going, can get it going. And I got full belief that they will.
And we also got to keep in mind, too, some dynamics change as the series changed back from home to, from a road to home. Like for instance, now that we're going back home, some things are going to change back in our favor. Crowd noise going to change back in your favor. The free throws, maybe the free throws might come your way. The calls might come your way a little bit more than not. Giannis is going to get back into some struggles at the free throw line, possibly. I mean, because when they start counting down on him on that's a dynamic that's coming back on our side to give us an advantage as well. So a lot of things change back. And another thing that's important that's going to change, the role players will shoot better going back home. And you saw that in this game too. Our role players didn't. I mean, we 7 threes out of what? 20 or something? 25 or something. I mean, we shot a lot of threes and we only dropped 7 of them. So that'll clean up a little bit better going home. So you're right about that. The Bucks they are a better team at home than they are on the road, and especially their 2 other stars, Middleton and Holiday. They struggle on the road big time. So hopefully we can keep that going, and we should get that Game 5. But let's go forward a little bit more with let's talk about DA in this game. And Ed, you guys, all of us have seen him come out of the shell that we saw when we was at that press conference way back on the rookie press conference, and the change and the transformation all the way up until today. Now you see the kid on the sideline giving out orders and barking out orders and saying, well, who needs to be here? Who needs to be there? It's like, okay, take me through what you've seen with Ayton from the time you saw him there, and then tell me what's the difference, in your opinion. What's the difference up to this point?
It's confidence, one, and it's also has a lot to do with the experience. When we saw him at that press conference a couple years, how many years ago it was, and I think I asked him a question. I was like, "Who are you excited to play against?" You're getting into NBA. He was like, "Nobody really." That Flex, you should have saw him. He was literally like, "Nobody really." And I was sitting there shocked, like, "Man, you just getting ready to get into the league, man. I need a little more from you." And
Yeah.
and then over the course of time, we've all ragged on him about, we need a little more from you here. Man, when he got to this playoff series, it's almost like the light switch got flipped on, and he went from regular season DeAndre Ayton to postseason. And this is the thing that I'm hoping is you can't expect this type of intensity all the way through a 72 or 82 game schedule. But I want to see this more and more and more. This type of DeAndre Ayton, slashing to the basket, just being forceful. We always talked about just the type of baskets you make as a big man. If I had his size, you would have to call me down. I mean, there wouldn't be a rim that I wouldn't be hanging from. I would just be hanging on. It'd be like, dog, at some point you got to come down from there. I'd be like, I'll be down in a minute. I'll be just hanging on that thing. Just forceful with his size and everything. But we are seeing that, and I think a lot of it. And you got to give both CP3 and Monty a lot of credit for the way that they're tutoring him as well. One of them probably being very forceful, meaning on the court, in his face, and then you can see Monty every now and then wants to put his hand around him just to reassure him and talk nice to him. And it's a nice combination. If you give him too much of one, Jay and I talked about this on Saturday. Sometimes you got to have good cop, bad cop. And that's raising your kids, being a boss with a company, whatever it is. Somebody's got to balance. It's got to be that yin and that yang. Because if you get too much of the berating, then you beat them down. If you give them too much love, then you got a spoiled brat kid. So I think it's been a nice balance, and he's been, what I like about him, he's accepted all of the teaching and then taken it and used it. And, we've seen the improvements in his game, and that's what impresses me in terms of him just coming out of that shell and, realizing, hey, I can do whatever I want to do out here. I just got to put the time in, got to put the energy in. And that's what I like about him so far.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead, E.
I was going to say, so Flex, you tell me, is it time for him to, now that he's starting to assert himself into knowing that he knows what he's talking about on the defensive end, because he's the anchor. He's saying, I'm doing my job. He knows he's doing his job. Is it time for him now to start calling for the ball now? Because I think they go away from this dude way too fast in games. I mean, critical parts of games. And these playoffs, these finals are going to come down to winning in the paint. It's not going to be won by no jump shots on the outside. So is it time for Ayton to start saying, okay, get me, you know how Shaq used to do? If I see you shooting something, you out there, get me the ball.
Right.
He's going to start demanding that at some point.
Here's the thing. I think that's coming.
I hope so.
I think that's coming, but I still think that, like yesterday's game, right? Yesterday's game was a weird game for him. Because I think the team did get lost in watching Devin go bonkers a little bit, right? And then you got to realize the 78 shots. That's a small number for the Phoenix Suns. So the Bucks took 97 shots. That's almost 20 more shots. Now, if you balance that out and you give the Suns 90 shots instead of 80, I think those 10 shots are the shots we see DA didn't get. Or at least half of those, but. Let's look at something. So, yesterday's game, I hear a lot of people criticizing that he has 6 points. But his job yesterday was to neutralize Giannis, which he did. He neutralized Giannis.
He took,
so he took the initiative on defense, and that takes a lot of what he's doing in that game. But he got 17 rebounds. He got 5 assists, and he got 3 blocks.
Right.
Okay.
Critical good block too in crunch time. Yeah.
So you're talking about 17 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, and tremendous defense. In a game where the whole tempo and the flow was going around Devin Booker. It's one of those games where you really can't go crazy about DeAndre getting 6. Here's what I'm more concerned with, and which I know won't happen again, which is why I'm feeling good about this next game. If both of you guys, man, I got too much respect for y'all knowledge. So if I told you, brother Ed and Earl, okay, we're gonna have 17 turnovers. We're gonna get killed on the turnover points, plus 19. They're gonna get 20 more shots than us. And Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton combined are gonna get 23 points. Oof. Y'all are telling me, Flex, we got handed to us. You know what I mean? And yet we controlled the tempo and damn near pulled that game out.
Right.
So, those are the things that I'm looking at, and I'm saying, man, that's just not going to happen. That's more of an aberration than the rule. You know what I'm saying? And again, just to answer your question, I think DA is close to being that guy where he starts to ask for the ball, but I don't think he's quite there yet, because this jump he's making is no one expected this jump. And so I think the next jump is going to probably happen organically next year, where he's going to say, okay, now I feel good about who I am.
Okay.
Let's get me to rock now. And that's just an organic thing. Ed, you played the game. You know how that goes. It's a maturation thing.
And I to piggyback off just what you said, Flex, DeAndre is in that caterpillar stage, right? He's in that little cocoon. He's not that butterfly yet, that pretty butterfly.
Good analogy.
And for me, he's working his way to getting there, but we're asking a whole lot considering what we've seen over the last couple of years. To all of a sudden now he's down. We're gonna compare to him coming out of the shell like Shaq. Shaq went a long way before he could eventually put those type of demands in. And the thing with DeAndre, which is different from some of these other big men in these series in the postseason, DeAndre needs facilitators. We look at what Giannis does. Giannis is bringing the ball up the court a lot of times, so he has ball in hand. DeAndre is one of those dudes, and I'll give you a quick analogy, and this isn't a great one, Earl, but it's like DeAndre is like that dude. DeAndre is that dude. You're at a company, right? And the sales team is in need. Quarter two is not going well, and we need somebody to knock it out of the box. DeAndre is that dude running from office to office, like, dude, what can I do for you? He's ready to go. What can I do for you? You need me to go on a meeting for you? You need me to call this? I can take them out to lunch. I can deliver this. But everybody else, I'm not saying necessarily wants the credit, but they're trying to do it. Booker's carrying the load. Temple Man is CP3. Meanwhile, DeAndre is just running around like ready to do whatever you ask of him.
How can I help? How can I help? Right.
And if you give it to him, he's gonna. But the problem is, we gotta give it to him to let him do it. So that's where he is right now.
That's good, man. That's
point.
perfect.
Great point.
Great. So Ed, and you both of you guys on this point, and we're going to talk a little bit about the great game that Devin Booker put out that we kind of wasted.
We got you.
But here's my question, and Ed, you can attest to this more than anything. Is in a professional, high-level playing field or playing league or whatever it is that you're in, how important is poise and keeping your cool and keeping things? Because to me, the rest of the team is watching that, and when as you go, they go. If you break, they gonna break. So the poise thing here. How can you change that in the middle of a hot series all of a sudden if you're not a poised person and be a poised person? How do you control that, and how important is poise to this whole situation, especially like Devin Booker, like in that game yesterday?
How you control it, Earl, is you don't let it happen again.
Right.
In the middle of the fiery, when everything's going on in a game like that, Book, this is an early lesson for him. He's taken such big strides in his game on the court physically. Now the next chapter is, if you want to be considered, because I've heard people compare his game, what he did last night, to like almost Kobe-like ish, right?
Right.
The Mamba was not just killing you on the court physically, he was up here in your head too.
He sure was.
He was never lets you get into his head. Now the next level for Book is, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they're firing at you, no matter what the obstacles are, whether it be the officials not giving you a call, somebody may be ribbing you, whatever it is, because there's a lot of physicality going on out there. Yes. The thing is, you can never let them see you sweat. Now, the fact that he did lose his cool, the next thing is Monty's got to sit with him and talk about, let's look at this together. And this is why you can never lose that edge. You have an edge a level that others can't get to unless you come down to their level. Right. And how that happens is you lose your focus. And that's the thing that he's going to have to learn. And hopefully he learned it last night, because you don't want to see a repeat of that, because we know what the Bucks are going to do. they're going to push that needle, dig to find a way to kick him off his center of gravity. And if he allows them to do that, that's victory for them. So the thing is, we saw it. Hey, let's move past it. Now, what do we do the next time we're in the same situation?
Do you think poison is an actual problem right now for Book Flex?
No, I'm gonna tell you something, man. First things first. This is why I feel good about Game 5 because I'm gonna be honest. I was super impressed with Devin Booker coming off of the 3 for 14 10-point game in Game 3. Okay, he came out right away and set the tempo and said, "Hey, I'm here to play." I think the bigger thing yesterday was we didn't have enough people that were on the same level with him.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he came in and said, "Yo, I'm ready to play. I'm ready to have that Mamba moment. I'm ready to drop 50 on these dudes. Who's with me?" Right. And everybody's still in the hotel. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's still in the hotel.
Mainly his running mate.
He just needed one dude to rock with him, and the Suns would be up 3-1.
He had one dude rocking with him. I mean, showing up every freaking night.
Cam Johnson's a ball player. Cam Johnson's
yes,
a ball
sir.
player.
North Carolina.
From the University of North Carolina. Hold on a second.
That boy showing up every damn night.
There you go.
Let's go, NC, baby. Yes, sir. Yeah. No, listen. I think Devin is fine. I think the foul trouble got to him a little bit, and rightfully so, man. I mean, here's another thing that's as a ball player. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, man, this is so. Devin's got 5 fouls. I can't wrap my mind around the fact that Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo combined. Brother Ed, combined, those 3 physical basketball players had 5 fouls for the whole game. Yeah. Okay. So it could get frustrating when a guy like Devin Booker is out there doing everything he can and he's getting that bad whistle, and the guys that are sitting here hand checking him 94 feet and hitting him in the paint and trying to take him off of everything he's doing aren't getting those same whistles, man. 5 fouls on 3 stars. Right. Drew Holiday gets 5 fouls in the first 10 minutes, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
and that's probably part of what our next subject is going to be, and that's how the referees are calling these games because of there being a finals series. They're letting a lot of stuff go. I mean, literally. I mean, and at the same time, they might be they're letting it go too much to the point where they are getting careless. Yeah. Because I mean, how do you let a guy take the ball out with his foot on the floor and another foot out of bounds? That's just basic stuff.
And not only that, there was no foul on that play either.
Right, exactly. But I'm just saying, it's just one thing to miss a call because 2 guys are battling. But the stuff around that's part of the basics of you being a ref, taking the ball out, make sure the dude is standing on the out of bounds line before he brings it in. I mean, little stuff like that is like, come on. These refs are having some part of how this thing is going, but at the same time, as players, it's hard to channel out that and know that that's part of the game. And you have to, like Ed was talking about the poise, that you have to channel that stuff out and keep on the right path, because in that game, before Book picked up the 5th foul, they were in total control of that game. Yeah. Total control.
And the same thing happened in Game 3.
Correct. Up by 8
when Ayton picked up the 5th foul. Right.
I said, what the hell happened? And then I looked at the tape again today. Book was seething before that play.
Right.
Remember, it was a build-up. It was a build-up. And the play was that I think he got really frustrated when PJ Tucker, the ball went out on PJ Tucker's foot, and Book was like, it's on him, and he looked at his coach like, I'm telling you, and Monty was like, no.
Okay.
So that ticked him off.
Okay, so hold on. I got to talk about this. I'm glad you brought this up. So I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the play of the game. Like Monty. Listen, first of all, Monty Williams should have challenged that. That's one. Exactly. If he challenges that, first things first, you keep the possession. Second thing is you don't give up 3 points on the other end. Exactly. And third, Book never gets the 5th foul. if you take that one play away from this basketball game, I truly believe the Suns end up winning this game. So that's how close it was. And again, we always criticize the players and we sit here and we analyze this. That's a moment where I'm sitting here and I'm saying, I know Monty Williams' strategy. He doesn't like to challenge a lot because he doesn't like to lose the timeouts at the end of the game. Okay.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen down there.
You never know when you got to run that play.
That ended up being the turning point of that game.
That was the turning point of the game. You challenged that play, and that ball is our ball, and we don't give up 3 points, and Book never gets the fifth foul, and the Phoenix Suns are going home 3-1. And like Brother Ed said, it's a game of inches. It's a game of inches in the NBA Finals. And I think that was the play of the game that no one wants to talk about. The national media wants to talk all this other stuff. That's the bad call that's killing me. It's right off of PJ's foot.
Yeah, right off his foot, and you don't challenge it, or at least go look at it to make sure.
And then that fifth foul on PJ Tucker. Come on, guys, y'all play boy out. Come on, Brother Ed, he boxing the brother out, man. Come on, you get an off-ball box out foul on your fifth foul.
I gotta disagree with that, Flex. He straight gave that dude the football out of bounds.
Hey.
Shot. He was ticked off.
Well, it's PJ Tucker though. Yeah, he did sell it, right?
Tucker did sell it. Yeah, he sold it big time.
And listen, I know PJ. I met bro. PJ's a big dude, bro. If you don't hit him that hard, you're gonna get beat to the spot. So
here's another thing: a player like Tucker, he's that dude that every game you're like, I hope he ain't guarding me because I don't want to hear his mouth all game long. Yeah. He's that dude that every timeout, every free throw, he's in your ear. He's just leaning down. You don't know what he's saying.
Right.
But he's just like a net that you just can't get out your ear. And he that alone right there.
He's a more professional type of player.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes, he is.
Hey, let me ask you this, from a teammate standpoint. If you see a guy outplaying the starter as a player, when do you kind of chirp some stuff around and get a little word out? Hey, maybe we should get this dude. I mean, is it time for Monty to change up this starting lineup? Because Cam is killing it every freaking day, and Bridge is going up and down. Yeah. So, I mean, as a player, I know you don't want to bust up the chemistry by saying this guy should come starting. That's going to take this other guy down, and now the chemistry starts to break up. So, when do you get to that point? We're 2 games away from a freaking championship. Something's got to be done to get the best team on the court at the start of this game.
It all depends on the caliber of the player that wants to voice the opinion. Somebody like myself, I kept all my stuff to myself. I ain't got no reason to be talking about anybody and what they're doing. Now, if you're like Book or somebody like that, CP3, you can go whisper to Monty or let them know, not necessarily tell him what to do, but hey, some of the guys have been talking and, I don't know, maybe we need to get Cam in there a little more or earlier or whatever, that's all delegated by the people. Now, every now and then you'll get somebody who just runs off at the mouth some fool. And those are the dudes that end up without a job really fast. So like I said, I know when to speak, when not to speak, when to shut up, when to get out the room. That was, my thing. Right. So like I said, but there are certain guys on the team, like you said, they see, because everybody sees it. It's just a matter of who delivers the message. And, I think in this situation, if it's a CP3 or even a Crowder, because you're even around, they could actually have a conversation and just throw out a suggestion or something like that.
Right. You know what? E. Let me tell you something about Mikal. So obviously that's the thing that everybody's talking about is where's Mikal Bridges, right? Well, Mikal Bridges was probably the second best player in that game in game 2, right? He had a phenomenal game 2, 27 points, career high, filled up the box scores, plays great defense. And here's what's going on with Mikal Bridges. He's become part of the scouting report. That's what happened. What happened. Milwaukee said, okay, we were ignoring you, and you came out and dropped 30 on us almost in game 2. And so now you're in the scouting report, and we're trying to take you away. And that's the maturation of a basketball player. You got to let Mikal work through this. You know what I mean? You got to let him work through the fact that the attention now is going his way. And I think he will. This kid's a winner, man. This kid's won at every level. High school, at Villanova. He's winning at this level. I don't know if I replace Mikal because what Mikal does that doesn't show up in the box score is imperative to how successful this basketball team is. So and again, it's very delicate. It's game 5 of the NBA Finals.
Right.
In the regular season, you might be able to get away with that. But you make a move that drastic in the NBA Finals, and it can snowball into something that you don't want. So, I think we'll be okay, man. I think Mikal is going to be all right, and he'll make the necessary adjustments.
Okay. Well, let's talk the series as a whole, because I'm a little bit concerned. I mean, Flex, I know you talk everybody down, and you cool, and I'm good with that. But I'm a little bit concerned with the dynamics of sports, period, of how things usually go. And I know this is how, everything ain't the same, but it has been over the course of thousands of years that I can remember.
Okay.
Let me take you back to 2000. I forgot what year it was that the Heat played the Spurs in the championship, and in that game 6, it looked like they were bringing the ropes out. The Spurs about to celebrate, and bam, Ray Allen hits this big ass. And that just flipped the whole thing over to the other team. Do you think that could have happened in this game, that we flipped our series and had our chance to win because we had that game in our hand? That was our game to win.
I don't.
What I mean by that is the Suns all year long since the start of the playoffs have had an accelerated process, so to speak. They have accelerated past some of the failures that most teams supposed to have. Like the losing 2 years before they, finally get over the hump. They are accelerated past all that. Where is that failure that's supposed to come to make you hungrier to get that championship, which Milwaukee has? Because Milwaukee has failed 3 straight years and sitting back watching the Miamis go and watching the Bostons go and watching the other team go, and they failed at it. And now here they are. They have their chance. They're going to grab hold of it. And maybe that in that game, I'm hoping that's not the turning point that turned it their way when we had the chance to take the main series right there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of concerning because I'm like, man, we haven't really had, and we cannot get caught up in a elimination type of game for the Suns team because they've never been in that situation yet. They haven't had a game in any of these series where they're the team that could be eliminated. And we don't want to get to that point because they've never been there yet. So that's what I'm talking about. Could that be the turning point?
You see, here's my answer to that, man. You when you're at this level, I think you can't get too high or too low. And I need, if I was talking to the Phoenix Suns and I was Monty, it's real simple. That was game 4. That's what it was, Brother Ed. It was game 4.
Right.
Like they did what they were supposed to do. We can't make it more than what it actually was. Yes, I know there are people that are nervous because they're thinking, oh my God, what if this, what if that? Right. But you can't win a championship playing what ifs. Like at the end of the day, that team did what they were supposed to do.
Correct.
And we're supposed to go home and do what we're supposed to do. The difference between that scenario and the scenario you brought up is that team that came back and hit that shot with Ray Allen had Ray Allen, LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron's not in that locker room. And I'm going to say this again. These teams are evenly matched. Brother Ed, I want your opinion on this because you play sports, you MLB and NFL. You're a unique dude when it comes to your perspective on this, okay? This game, in my eyes, wasn't won by Giannis or Middleton or Jrue Holiday. Those guys did what they had to do. Look at the box score. You know who won this game for Milwaukee?
That freaking
Pat Connaughton.
Yeah,
Pat Connaughton won this game. Pat Connaughton. So you at the end of the day, you go into game 5 and this is what you say. They did their job. It's 2 out of 3. We got 2 at home. And if we control Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis, and those guys, that's the job we got to do on Saturday.
Right.
Brooke Lopez can't get 14. Pat
Exactly.
Connaughton can't get 11. You handle those guys and you win this basketball game. So no, I don't think it's one of those do or die. That I don't subscribe to the whole theory that the whole series is shifted and all of a sudden the Phoenix Suns are in this place. It's 2-2, and if you go into that game with that perspective, you'll be fine on Saturday. But brother Ed, what do you think? Like, how do you view something like that?
Sports. It's at this level that these guys are playing is kind of tricky sometimes. For the Suns, we obviously know none of these guys, minus Crowder, have ever been in this type of situation. And in a lot of instances, you don't know what you don't know until somebody tells you, right?
Right.
And for the Phoenix Suns, it's real easy to say, okay, it's game 4. They did what they were supposed to do. Now we're just gonna go home. We're gonna do. And I'm sure Monty's been preparing these guys all the way, teaching lessons, little breadcrumbs and stuff like that, all the way through the season.
Right.
What happens is when the lights get really bright, sometimes all it takes is that little bit of doubt in your mind.
Right.
To just, and we don't, here's my thing. Here's my suggestion for the Suns. On Saturday, come out and let it fly like you have not let it fly all season. Don't be tentative, because the last thing you want to do is have that little piece of doubt start creeping into your mind.
Right.
And that can happen if you come out and maybe you're unsure and you don't want to be the dude to make the mistake, or, I'm not going to shoot it this time, and you turn the ball over and all of a sudden the other side starts to get a little traction. And so for me, this is all about coming out. And it's so easy to say, Flex, hey, we're just going to put that behind us. I've been there before. I played in the Super Bowl, bro. And
I got you.
When it starts to roll, it rolls. I remember in the Super Bowl I played in, before I even knew it was halftime. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
And I was like, I wanted to hit the reset button, like, oh, whoa, timeout. Let's start this one over, because this is bull, But once it starts, like I said, in the jitters, and we don't know. We won't know until we see how the Suns come out that locker room on Saturday. And I guarantee you guys are so close to it, you're going to be able to tell, oh, these dudes are on tonight, or they're playing a little tight, and I'm a little nervous about this. But we're not going to know, because we've never been in this position before. We've never seen, and neither have they. So until we see it, I'm a little nervous, because I don't know exactly what we're going to get. Can
I ask you a follow-up on that?
Sure.
You're Earl. You don't mind? Can I ask a follow up on that?
Man, it's your show.
No, it's your show, brother. No, I love. I want to ask you a follow up here. So, let's flip the script. Why doesn't Milwaukee feel that too, though?
A little more of a veteran team. Okay. They are coming off the 2 home wins. And I'm not a big believer in momentum. Momentum is
right. I don't believe in that either. That's why I'm asking.
We can toss that out the window. But because of some of those veterans that have been around the league a bunch, and seen some different things, you got to look at our roster. You're talking about, Book's never been there, Aiden's never been there, CP3 has been there, and Crowder. But
CP3 never been that far.
Not that far, exactly.
Right.
He's older, but he hasn't been that far. Their nucleus is a bunch of guys, just like Earl said, they've experienced the disappointment, and they've been there and been slapped. And
that's the scariest part of the whole thing, man. And that's the only thing that concerns me. Is like, man. And then you talk about that doubt. That doubt could be the role players around CP3. Is he really going to be ready to do this thing now? And he didn't do it in the time we needed him. And then if he comes to game 5 and has that same type of game, I guarantee you doubt's going to start creeping.
You see this right here?
What's that?
Yeah, I know what that is. I know what that is.
Tight. They get real tight. And I'm not going to lie. I've been in some high-pressure situations, and I'm not going to tell you my booty wasn't tight a couple times, just praying that I didn't do something stupid or, cost us a chance to do this or do that. And these guys, like I said, these guys are ultra-focused, but even the most ultra-focused guys can have nerves and jitters.
Right.
And that's what I'm hoping. It's almost like when they come out of the locker room, I hope they get smacked right away, because a lot of times all it takes is that first hit or something to happen.
And then you rocking and rolling, right? Then you rocking and rolling. Hey Earl, you said something. You said something to lead off this question.
Okay.
And I want your opinion on this, but I want to ask you this. So you think about this. The Phoenix Suns were 2-2 coming back for game 5 versus LeBron James in the first round, right? So they were in the same spot versus the Lakers in the first round, with less experience.
Correct.
And they came in and they handled their business in the game 5.
Correct.
And then I'm gonna throw one more parallel to you. There was a game 6 versus the Clippers where they just dropped the game 5 at home. And the theory in Phoenix was, oh my God, if you lose this game 6 in LA, there's going to be an elimination game. And look how they responded in that one. So how much do those two games, how much of those two games do you fall back on and say, hey, as much as people want to say we haven't been here, we actually have been here. Like we have been in a game 5 2-2 versus a Hall of Famer, and we handled that versus LeBron. And we have been on the brink of having to face an elimination game, and we handled that on the road. So those are. What do you think about that? Like, how much do those games play into this?
I agree that gives you some experience, and it gives you experience, and it also gives you confidence that you've done it before. But at the same time, Flex, in my opinion, really, it's kind of like that. You ever seen that movie Bruce Lee when Return of the Dragon, when he's going from staircase to staircase, going up levels and up levels and up levels? The levels keep getting higher. That's what's the levels getting higher. And so once they get to that, the Lakers were beat up, so that put them in the bottom of the level. And I get that that's LeBron, but ain't no one superstar beat this Suns team, and it ain't gonna happen. Ain't no one superstar beat this team. So the levels are getting harder. And when you get to the top, that other team has been through some stuff too. And so that's my point. I'm like, okay, now, man, them dudes is hungry. Them dudes is like, I done failed 3 years in a row doing this. I'm not failing this time. And you can tell they have that look in their eye just as much as we want it. So but I'm not saying the Suns can't get this done because they're the better team, in my opinion, like you said earlier. They are. But
I
that seed of doubt. Oh, man, that's big.
You know what?
Creeping into those role players, and when those role players get that seed of doubt, when they see their stars have a little bit of doubt, this thing is a wrap.
You know what? The one thing I will say,
that's on both sides.
Yeah, it's on both sides. And right. When I look at this and the ball playing me, and I agree with you, brother Ed. I don't believe in no momentum thing, man. You throw the ball up and you play the game that's in front of you. When the game starts in game 5, like when you was playing ball, you didn't think about last week's game. You was right into what the task at hand. So I don't believe in a momentum thing. And I will say this: I just believe that the Phoenix Suns have enough sweat equity built in. And I believe they have enough on that basketball team that's going to be able to go in there and play the game that they need to play on Saturday. And then what makes me more confident is, and I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but if I'm looking at these two basketball games, I'm looking and I'm saying, and I'm going to take it one step further because this is another thing people don't remember. We beat this team twice in the regular season.
Correct.
Okay. So going into game 3, we had beat this team 4 straight times. Okay. Right. So, just like there's the thought that Milwaukee's feeling good. I mean, it just takes one run for us to remember that we were just dominating this team 5 days ago. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it and I say, I don't think there's a guy on that Milwaukee Bucks team that is as scary as Paul George. Or as scary as LeBron James.
Trust me, I'm right with you. When I see these two teams together, if the Suns bring what the Suns do best, and all their guys are doing what they do best, we beat this team with no problem. But that's easily said than done.
Easily said. You got to do it.
Other intangibles that are involved mentally before you can do it physically on the court. And a lot of these, when I mean by mentally and physically, look at Mikal Bridges. He knows every night. Damn, I got to guard this dude every night, Middleton, and all these. He's got the toughest assignment every night. He's not going to be the same scoring 27 points in one game. He's not going to be the same. It's a mental thing. And so that's my point. How do we know where they will be when they play this team at game 6 or game 7 even? So I don't know. I'm just saying they're so evenly damn matched. They're so evenly matched that one thing go wrong for either team could tilt the tilt the scale in one's favor. So,
Right.
I mean, Ed, what do you think as far as going forward with a 3-game series? You know this Suns team has been good at home. They protect home court. They do what they're supposed to do. They win this thing, right?
Well, this is all about who's going to impose whose will on the other.
Exactly.
The Suns, they want to pick it up. They want to get it up and down. Like Flex said earlier, they got to get that shot count up. Keep certain guys out of foul trouble.
Right.
The thing we're battling is their size and their physicality.
Right.
We don't have that on our side, and that's why we got out-rebounded, out-muscled to a certain degree. The one thing we have to do, like I said, you have to go out there and you have to set the tempo if you want it to be your tempo. You can't go out there and allow them to slow it down, body up on Chris Paul. That's why you got to get really creative with how you now get the ball up the court. Maybe instead of him getting it at the baseline down there and then having to battle to get to half court, put it in somebody else's hand, let Chris get up the court, and then get him off a pick so he gets the ball. And now you're moving.
Energy, too. He's saving energy at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are the little tweaks that we're going to see. And then obviously you got to – the other side, they get paid too, their coaching staff, so they might have a different wrinkle.
Right.
They're going to have their answer to your this. And so it's like I said, it is a game of checkers, and then Chinese checkers, not even, So, I mean, this is going to be interesting to see. And like I said, I know both of you from the first whistle, within the first 5 minutes or so, I know both of you are going to – and I'll be watching the tweets because I know we all go back and forth and everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just because one of our listeners always says the same thing, Earl. He said, just because I ain't calling in don't mean I'm not listening.
Oh, yeah, big heart.
Just because I'm not texting in the mix all the time don't mean I'm not watching what y'all saying. And like I said, within the first few minutes, if I can see it, I know you guys are going to see we're either – I'm feeling good about this or, man, this doesn't look good. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out the box. And I will say this, thank God they have home court advantage because that takes care of a lot of the nerves. If you're on the road in game 5 compared to being at home for game 5, man, walking in that
atmosphere,
that, that will get you. So that's the one good thing.
There's your rebuttal, David Jackson. He just told you.
I don't agree with that at all.
Home court does make a difference, bro. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
You know why?
If home court didn't make a difference, why didn't the Suns sweep this thing then? Because they played excellent in the first 2 games. But yet when he went to Milwaukee, the home court made a difference. So,
hey, David Jackson, I'm gonna tell you why this doesn't. I don't agree with this tweet because home court did make a difference in that scenario because we were playing a game 6 in LA knowing we had a game 7 in our back pocket. And that's a big difference. So it absolutely makes a difference, man. And I agree, man. Listen, I gotta hear what y'all guys say. What's the series, man? How does cracking down, brother? Talk to me. Talk to me. What you thinking, E? What you thinking, brother Ed? Talk to me.
Well, for me personally, like I said, I'm sorry, Ed. I'm just going to I still think no matter what, the better team always wins. And I do believe the Suns will play better at home. And as long as they protect home court, they're the winner. So I think they have what it takes to at least protect home court.
So what's your prediction, brother? Tell me. What's happening?
Suns is 7. Unbelievable.
Okay.
I just don't see – I don't see the Bucks just giving up just that easy. I just don't. Okay. I see them battling this thing down to the very last chemical, whatever you want to call it, molecule. They're going to battle to the dead end every breath because they have been there trying to get that prize and to take it from them like they're going to battle for it, man. So, but if the Suns win this, it'll be in 7, man.
What you thinking, Ed?
I'm thinking the same thing. I almost want to say whoever wins game 5 because if the Suns get 5, I think they can go back and get 6 in Milwaukee. But if they don't, they come back in 7. If the Bucks win on Saturday, man, it's going to be an uphill trying to get game 6 in Milwaukee. So I'm like a split decision in boxing. Suns win on Saturday. I think we got it in 7. Milwaukee wins on Saturday. We might go down in 6.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. What you got, Flex? I already know what you got. You got Suns in 6, right?
Suns in 6, man. Listen. I think the Phoenix Suns come out. I think they come out. The real Phoenix Suns show up on Saturday. I think the crowd's going to be crazy. I think they win game 5. And I think they do exactly what was destined to be this entire playoffs. They won every series on the road. They've wrapped up every series on the road. And I think that if they win game 5, they're going to go on to Milwaukee. You know, that thing you just showed, brother Ed, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen in Milwaukee in game 6 because they're gonna know it's do or die best die. And I really do think Suns win game 5 and then wrap this up in game 6, and everybody's gonna say what a great series it was. Rest in peace to my boy Paul Westphal, because that's his call.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, let me get you guys' opinion on something real fast that's important to this series. Because you know, like you were talking about, Ed, about their size. What do you want to give up more? Would you give up more of the second chance points, or would you give up the turnovers? Which one you got? If you had to give one, give or take, if you're the Suns, you don't want to turn it over 17 times to 5, or would you go ahead and give them the second chance points that they keep beating us on? Because you can get away with them on the second chance points if you're not turning the rock over. But which one would you give up?
I got to give up the turn. I'd rather have the turnovers because I used to those turn into buckets the other way.
Yes, sir.
That's how we don't believe in game-to-game momentum.
Right.
We do believe in game momentum.
There you go.
You start turning it over, going the other way, it becomes hard to stop that train.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree. You give up the turnovers because the turnovers put the team in transition, easy buckets, and then that shot chart changes. That's where you get the plus 19 shots. Because every turnover is a shot you didn't take on your end. You know what I mean? So that's where you get it. And I know the Suns will control the ball in game 5. Like Chris Paul's not going to come out here and turn the ball over 5 times.
5 times, right?
I'll say this much. Next year, we got to all watch some games together.
I would
love to sit down with Flex and see him get his game on, bro.
Hey, I can't wait, brother Ed. I'll go right to you. I'll fly to you, brother. Let's do it. I can't wait, man.
We already know this was his way of calming everybody down. Right? So my way of calming everybody down, I had to go back to my childhood and calm everybody down.
There we go.
That's little Casual right there.
That's Lil E. That's Lil E. I love it, bro. I love it.
Calm down. Oh man, hey man, I appreciate you giving us some time, man. It was awesome to come in, man. And
anytime, it's good to see you, brothers. And like I said,
bro. And,
this is family right here. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Y'all want to check it out? Get on your freaking radio on Saturday morning, 10:60 a.m. and check out the Easy Sports Talk. You want all these great analogies this dude come up with. I don't know, he just talk about the top of his head. Damn, you and Paul. Paul's pretty good at that too, but I think he's got a level up on Paul. But yeah, check them out over at 10:60 a.m. KDUS every morning from 10 to noon on Saturday. So
appreciate the love, man.
Appreciate you, man. Love you, bro.
Love you too,
brother Ed, Irv Smith Jr., baby, breakout year, baby. Breakout year,
we got ready to get it on, man. Hey, I'm coming back when I get this back right, I'm coming back over to Jersey too. So whether you're out here, I'm over there. We're gonna get it in.
Absolutely. We gotta see nephew. We gotta see nephew break out this year, baby.
Yes,
much
sir.
Love, baby. Love you, brother Ed.
Love you too, man. All right, brothers.
Yeah.
That was Ed Smith, former Atlanta Falcon tight end. Dude played in the NFC championship game and made the Minnesota choking Vikings lose that dang championship.
Damn, you gotta go there, man.
I'm sorry, dude.
I got you, brother.
I wanted the Vikings to win that damn championship, and I wasn't even a Vikings fan. I was like, that team deserved to win that damn championship. They was too good to lose that championship.
You know, it's crazy that he was on that team, right? My man, brother Ed was on that team. I'm a little kid watching that game, and who would know? Years later, I'm talking to my man, brother Ed. That's crazy, man.
That's freaking crazy.
God bless, man. God is good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, Flex, man, we got to keep this thing rolling, and let's come back in here and you calmed everybody down, bro. So we're gonna come back in here, and it's gonna be Suns up 3-2, ready to go home and ready to try to go on the road and win this damn thing. But matter of fact, I missed that during the show. I missed that we are a team that has won every series in this dang on thing on the road.
Every series on the road, baby, which is why I keep telling people to calm down. We can win on the road. Calm down.
So,
we good.
Hey, This ain't nothing about panicking and being stupid and saying the Suns ain't this. This is just about the facts, and let's just put things on, throw it out there and see where we end up, because we just talking sports. But at the same time, I'm still a Suns fan. I know this team is not going to just go in there and lay down. No, they're going to go in there and do what they got to do. So y'all heard it right here. Flex got it in 6. I got him in 7. Regardless, the Suns going to come out on top in this thing. So that's the whole thing. So let's everybody calm down, like my little man said. Calm down. Calm down. And we go check y'all later on the next Bleav the Phoenix Suns podcast. From Flex, from Earl. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out, Plain Orange.
The emphatic follow down and goes for 8. Big guy. Don't worry about it. Bridges picks the pocket with a thunderous left hand. Booker racing to the rack. Scoops and goes. From far away.
What's up, Larry? What's up, Larry?
Think about it. Oh, no, he did.
Chris Paul is not right. CP3, stop it.
Calm down, calm down. Calm down, calm down. Calm down, calm down. Calm down.
Love it. Love it.
Oh,
Calm
man.
down, calm down.
Yes, sir.
Calm down.